Hello, everybody. So, this is where I've gotten to. Um, I actually, the spacers were maybe a millimeter too long, maybe 2 millimeters. So I filled the space up with the thermal compound, which um, may or may not been a good idea. But I couldn't really see myself grinding down 2 millimeters off of these connectors. So, these standoffs. It kind of worked out, and I don't think it was on purpose. But at any rate, so I gooped up both sides so that there's plenty of goop in there, and we'll see how it goes. So basically, the fan on both sides, one side's going to blow hot air, one side's going to blow cold air, and the heat sink is going to, as you can see, so that's the theory. So I'm in the process of I looked online to see what the pin. There's 4 wires that come off the computer, the CPU cooling fan, because there are some controls, speed it up. One's checking temperature, one's got a variable speed. So 2 of them are really not used, but I'm just going to be on full power. Maybe someday I'll put a reset in there, but it's not happening on this model. So this is an old trick that some of you probably may remember 300 ohm antenna wire back in its day, the flat cable, and you'd go to strip it and it would come apart. So the trick to stripping this kind of wire that's so thin is to use a match or a lighter and burn the insulation off of the wire, and that way you don't anything in the thing. Any little strands. Try to keep as many strands together as possible.
So what I've done is I did that to the black. The black is actually negative for the fan, and then the yellow is the hot. And so I'm twisting them together, and then I'm going to add them to the thermocouple. And I'm just guessing with it. Basically, one side's going to blow hot air, one side's going to blow cold air. And the side that's blowing cold air, it's going to go into the cooler, and the other side is going to blow out into the room, which means the cooler is not going to be inside the house like it is right there, because otherwise I'm going to have to deal with the hot air. So I've taken those 2 yellow wires and have twisted it around the red wire, and then I'm going to put it into my holder here, which you may not be able to see, so I have to click this down a bit. You can see that at all. This is a really cool contraption. It has a little thing to hold my soldering iron on it. Sometimes if you leave it lying around on the table, it can easily melt through wires, and that would not be a good thing. So you just get a little solder on the tip, and then you put it against the wires, and the wire will heat up and start to draw that solder in, and then all you gotta do is dab on a little more, and the wires will just draw in that solder. It's a really simple process. And then you can blow on it or give it a few seconds, and it will cool down and congeal. You don't want to touch the wires while they're still molten, because what they'll do is cause a cold solder joint, which is not very conductive. Um, so now what I'm probably going to do is put some heat sink on it, tubing on it, and then put one of these
something like one of these. Another one's on the floor. Something like this on there, and then I'm going to put it into a. That's all I need is one of these, and then the other side's going to connect up to the power supply. We're just going to be in for a couple of days, so I will just put the thing away and come back to it later on. But so that is where I am at, and this is part 2, and then hopefully part 3 will be the thing working. And if it doesn't work, I will let you know, because that's just the kind of guy I am. Failure is not an option. Let's try again. Ta-ta.